Welcome friends, in this video I'm going to show you again how to back up to a file. So crank up SSMS as I have it and just choose a database, doesn't really matter which one. So right click on the databases and then on the tasks go over to backup. Alright, make sure you've got that. So here it says now database, my DBase, you can switch that obviously to other ones if you like from the drop down list. And then on the backup type, leave it as full. You can also do differential backups, which basically back up the changes. All right, and then backup component database, that's good. And we are going to back this up to the drive. So down below for the destination, just leave it as disk. If you have some previous settings here, keep in mind you can remove them. I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to remove that. You see it's gone from the little white space below. All right, and then here, back up to disk, correct, and then click add. And under file name, that's where you can select your file name. By default, it's in a path that is kind of complicated. And let's see here, as shown here. So click on the button with the three little dots on it, and you can select a different file and a different folder as an example. So here by default, you go to program files. Let's see, Microsoft SQL Server, and then MSQL 12 SQL Express. So that version of SQL Server. I have other ones, obviously, including 16 and 17. And then you can choose this file. You see that? mydbase.bak. I'm going to specify a different location. I always have trouble finding this. It's such a weird place. So I'm going to go to the C drive and choose instead the data folder in the C drive. And enter a file name. So for example, I'm going to say here mydbase and then .bak with the extension included. And then click OK. All right, and then click OK again. And after this, let's take a look at some of the things here. Go to media options for a second. You've got some additional options here. So backup to the existing media set, correct. Append to the existing media backup set. That's fine. You can override it if you like completely. That's another option. And what might be useful down below is if you check for reliability, specifically verify backup when finished to be sure things have gone well and correctly. But I'm just going to keep the default settings for our purposes and then just click OK. And it says that it's been completed successfully. Okay, that's it. Now, once you have it backed up, obviously the natural thing to do is to try to restore it to be sure it's actually available. So to do that, I'm going to again right-click on databases. And keep in mind here, you can also right-click on a specific database. So right-click, say, on My DBase, then go over to Tasks, and then go over to Restore, and then Database. You can also do it that way. Keep that in mind. And then click there. And from this now, you have two options. The database source can be an actual database, as you see here. See that? But click on device in our case instead, and then click the button with the three little dots on it. And then from here, we're going to restore from the file we have just made. So go over to backup media type, file, correct, click add. And from here, you can navigate to the file. And again, by default, it opens to this location as shown here. So let me see. Yeah, it's pretty complicated, right? The backup folder under MS SQL, under MS SQL 12 Express, and then under Microsoft SQL Server, and then program files. That's why I don't like using that, so complicated. Instead, I just go to the data folder, and I should have a file named mydbase.bak. So much easier, right? C drive data folder, mydbase.bak file, click OK. And make sure it's showing up there here as the backup media, click OK. Give it a second. And if you like, you can at this stage, for example, click verify backup media. And then just click OK. Give it a second here to restore. And now take a look. This might give you a bit of a problem because I left the database for the destination, my DBase here. And notice that it's kind of spinning. It's not really doing anything. So clearly there's a problem. So to fix that stage, take a look. You see it says restore of database my DBase failed. If you look at that, you see that? Exclusive access could not be obtained because the database is in use. So that's a problem, obviously. Take a look. In this panel, look down below. The yellow status bar. Remember, I have the My DBase database context active currently. because that is so I'm getting errors like this. So to fix it, take a look. I'll click OK. And instead, you can just give it a different name, like my DBase2. And then click OK again. And notice that now it restores perfectly. That's it. Click OK. And on the left side in the Object Explorer, you should now have my DBase2 as a restored database. I hope you see that. And then make sure that you click into it and then just make sure everything is available, right? There you go. So you've got all the tables and any other items that we may have made along the way. Let me just see here. Let's see, programmability, store procedures. This is the one we used in the little data entry project. You see, it's all been restored. That's good. So this is an example of saving to a file and then restoring from the file. Some additional things that you can do. Well, you right click and let's see. Go to tasks and then go over to take offline. Right now it's offline. So if you look carefully next to my DBase2, it says offline and the icon is changed. It shows a little arrow pointing down, which I guess means that it's down. That speaks for itself, right? And then of course to put it back online so you can make use of it, this is what you do. Right click, tasks, and then just bring back online. That's all, bring online. And remember that if a database is offline, so one more time, right click, tasks, and take offline. If you try to use it, you'll get an error, so take a look here. I'm going to close this panel. And with my DBase2 selected in Object Explorer, click on New Query. And you're going to get some hang up here. Look at it carefully, you see? And obviously it's trying to connect. And it does connect, but it doesn't connect to my DBase2. Look very carefully on the bottom, across the yellow status bar, it says master, where my mouse is moving a little bit, okay? So that's the database context now, master, not my DBase2. So it defaults to the master one. All right, I'm going to restart it. So right click, tasks, bring online. That looks like this. And then remember, when you make a new panel with the object selected in Object Explorer, so new query that is, if you look carefully at the status bar across the bottom, it says my DBase2, and you're back in that context of that database. And the last thing that I want to do is show you how to connect Excel to SQL Server. So I've already got it open here. I'm going to go over to data, and then I'm going to go over to from other sources, and then from SQL Server. All right, and then for the server name, as usual, you type the name of the computer / and the name of your instance of SQL Server, like that. And then just click next. This panel here looks very similar to the other ones we've used. For example, connecting Visual Studio to SQL Server. Click next. And then from here, you can choose the database. So I'm going to go here, for example, with AdventureWorks. And after that, you can choose your table. So employee, good enough. Click next. At the next screen here, where it says the data connection wizard, just click finish. That's all we need. Okay, you can add some description if you like here, and so on, but I'll just click finish. All right, and in my case, I already have it, so I'm just going to replace it. And at the next stage, take a look here. You have more options. So for example, you can do a table. You can do a pivot table report, a pivot chart, only create a connection, existing worksheet, or you can make it in a new worksheet, and so on. You see? All right, so I'm going to go with this existing worksheet that I have here, and then click on properties for a second, and you can again specify more here if you like. Okay. If you look at this carefully, you see it gives you a nice connection string of the kind that we have seen before, so it literally is nothing new in that sense. And down below you also have the command text. All right, I'm going to click OK. Just click OK. And it brings everything up, but notice because of the way I specified it, it begins the table here. And another thing to be observed is that these field names now, if you look at them carefully, right, you see that? You can sort. So it applies some basic filters for you already. Right now, as you can see, the title, it says select all, Mr., Miss, and blanks. So null, basically, if you think about it, what is a null in SQL becomes a blank here. So I'm going to just go say, I'm going to disable these two and just go with Mr. Let's see what happens. And I see only the Misters. There you go. And then you can obviously, Miss. And that looks like this, and so on. So there are different things that you can do. And on the bottom, notice that this thing is given a default of sheet 1 as its name. All right, I hope you've got that. And then you can proceed from here as you would usually using Excel. That's all. All right, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you, and I'll see you next one.